There's no time to change your mind. The sun has come.
You can see it up there. You've got two things in life you can rely on. And the waning gibbous. The waning gibbous is still in the sky. I'll open the Bible and then you've got your senses.
To the wilderness again.
It seems there is a third. There's Freemasons.
Who are scientists? Scientists are Freemasons. We are the remnant. We are the remnant of society. But you can't comprehend why they would send us to school and feed us a Christmas message every year, and every year that Christmas message just leads me closer to Christ.
And like that, he's returned from the wilderness. I'm back from camping. So it was a good trip. It was fun. I really got to clear my head. I did a lot of reading of the Bible, which was good, but it rained. My goodness, did it rain. So I went up there the Monday night, up to the Waddingans it was. I went up there on the Monday night, and it was really nice Monday night. It was good Tuesday, and then about 5 o'clock Tuesday night, the weather started to come over. It was just raining the whole time. Just sprinkling, it wasn't huge rain. It wasn't, I could stay there because I've got a good tent and stuff, but then things started happening because it was raining, when you're away and things rain and it gets chaotic and all these new things start happening. So my tent, the poles in my tent, so they're in like, 3 of the 30 millimeter sections, and they clip together and you pull them out and it folds down at the end. Well, one of them snapped off in the thing, didn't it? And I pulled it out and had a look, but it had snapped right in the groove. So it was just laying there, sitting there. So last night, I'm just looking at this, and there's only 4 of them. Like there's 2 of them that go over, and one of them on one side had snapped. So, one of the 4, pivot points, the grounding points for this tent had broken. And I'm thinking, so long as it doesn't rain, I'll be right. But no, it rained all night. And my gas stove on, I think Wednesday, the first day it started raining, just stopped working. So I had no way to heat water, I had no way to heat food in the end, so I went down and had a shower there. So I thought I'd bugger it on Thursday. I'm not showering, it's too cold, it was just raining all day. But yesterday I had to do it because I hadn't showered on Wednesday. So down I went with a little shower bag. And so I woke up this morning and it was really dark. And I thought, you know what? I'm going bloody home. So I am home. And we're just about finished all the cleaning. It's good. Mercifully I've got home, and predictably, as soon as I get home it's sunny and it's quite nice. It would have been beautiful up there like this now. But anyway, these things happen. So I've been thinking a lot about what happened last weekend with church, and it just hit me because in 2 different ways. When I went to that Baptist meeting, and the guy was obviously a Zionist because he was reading from that Zionism Bible, and that just hit me in a few different ways because he's Salvation Army, and to me, if you're part of the enemy, and just the doctrine he was preaching was consistent with what they were preaching there the other day at the Church of Charmhaven, the Freemason one. The doctrine they're teaching, this bloke was probably one as well, I just didn't see the hand signs. The doctrine they're teaching is, following Jesus takes your worries away within the earth, and it makes you, more successful in the earth, and it makes you get more money and less worry and less stress about life. And in none of the sermons, there's no connection to God there, and I just know what they're doing. It's all about, there's this common thing that don't worry, everything's good, everybody's going back to Jesus. And you remember, these people are the enemy preaching in church. So they want Christians to think that everything's rosy and the way they're doing it is fine, and there's nothing huge happening on the earth, and people like me who are saved and are really following Christ, we're on the lookout every day for some monumental event to go down, because it's going to happen. Which I can feel it, it's in Scripture, and these poor souls, they just think that, the perfect little Jews live in Israel today, and they're perfect little victims, and they still think the earth's a globe, and how people can think the earth's a globe and then profess to be a creationist, when the whole thing hinges around Big Bang. You've got Big Bang and you've got creation, haven't you? So how can you be a Christian and believe the earth's a globe and then say that, they don't believe in evolution? It's like, well, get some consistency. So there was that, and then just to sort of see it there in my local community there the other day, it really hit me. It really had a profound impact on me, that I think you could see in my last 2 videos. just to see it in my local community. And it's like, it's not bad enough that we have to live here with all this knowledge and knowing what's going on, but then you go to a church, you know, you try to find people to fellowship with, and they're just bloody Freemasons, you know. It's just such a kick in the guts. But anyway, I'm back. I'm feeling good. I've got a concept that I do use quite often. See past outrage and truth will emerge. So in Australia here in particular, I name sort of these people, you know, you've got Captain Offended and the perfect ones. Now, Captain Offended, you've got different people, right? Different types of offended. So say one of these mass shootings in America, right? People react in different ways. So the majority of people go, oh, that's horrific, it's dreadful, it's Holocaust is another one, it's dreadful, I'm so offended, I'm so outraged, and I don't want to talk about it. 9/11, they say it a lot, you know, don't talk about 9/11 because it's disrespectful to the victims. You know, it's like, well, how is talking truth disrespectful to the victims, you know? But anyway, but you've got different so people outrage themselves out of the discussion, out of any semblance of order, out of any semblance of finding truth. And then you've got Captain Offended, who's just itching to be offended. He's Captain Offended. Captain Offended normally votes green. Normally, I'd say in America, they'd love someone like Bernie Sanders, and they just love social progression. And if you don't love social progression, they're offended. And if you get offended in Australia, that's it. Conversation's over, it's done, it's finished. Because that person's offended. So I've got this thing in my life, you know, see past outrage and offended, and truth will emerge, and that's what I've done here. I've looked past it, and I've just gone, okay, that's good, it was horrible, but it's not about how I react to it, it's about what the Lord's showing me with all this. So the fact is, Satan's running the world. They're all in on it. The whole thing's a stage. Every single one of these leaders, Putin, the person in Iran, Trump, Netanyahu, China, North Korea that's not there. He's in Switzerland where he belongs with the Knights Templar, the black heart of the world. That's what's going on. Like it or lump it, Brett, that's what's going on. And the Lord has revealed this to me. So this is where I am at the moment. Why is the Lord revealing all this to me? It's got to do with my calling. It's got to do with my calling, and it's also like, why would he reveal all this stuff to me and just tell me to go back and be miserable within the system? And, you know, last thing I want to do now is go and work 40 hours for some person with something that I've got no passion for in the system, in the cesspool system that they've created, that we must participate in. I just don't want to do it, and I'll do it if I have to do it to survive, and if the Lord tells me to, I will. But why would he? So he's given me all this wisdom, all this new information, and now it's just up to me how I use it. And this is what I've been doing. While I've been camping, I've just been processing it, just, you know, just reading the Bible more and just processing and just going, okay, it's some good clarity. The Lord has done me a service here last week. I'm over it. I'm no longer emotional about it. I'm good. Thanks for all the comments. Thanks for watching the videos. As you can see, you know, I'm a straight from the hip type of shooter. I don't get emotional all that often. But as you can see, it really moved me. It really had an impact on me. So thanks for not laughing. That's good. It's one good thing. But thanks for the comments. You guys are great. Thanks a lot for them all. And just a quick one out there to Ryan, mate. Please don't. When I say things like that on videos, all I was saying with that video where I said I'm just going to keep a few things to myself, in that I've got a lot of ideas swirling around in my head as to what's going on here, and they're just ideas in my head, and I've got all that going on, and plus I'm trying to understand the Bible. So there's just times where I'm not going to say everything, you know. If I'm not sure about my thoughts, if I'm not sure about a few things, I just won't mention them. But that's not a reflection on you, mate. I want the comments to keep coming. I love your comments. And not once have I been Captain Offended, dun, 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 in my cape, you know, being offended when you do one, like make comment. You know, I look forward to them, so please don't be silly. And don't take it the wrong way, because your comments are so appreciated. It's not funny. So it's this is where we are now. My big question to the Lord at the moment is why? Why are we here? It's all very good to say I found you and all that, and all that's great. And I'd have it no other way. I don't want to lose this truth. I want to know truth, and I want to know more truth. I want to learn more truth. But my question still remains is why are we here? And this is all, to me, it's all swinging back to the garden. Something happened there. There was a reason why he created Adam. These are sort of the other things that I'm sort of wrestling with in my head, is that you've got constant Adam themes in the Bible. Noah was a perfect man of his generation. You know, he was like an Adam. He was perfect. Job was perfect as well. I read somebody else too. There was somebody else who was, I think, Abraham, and all of these figures who seem to be Adam, but from a different angle. You know, so I don't think the Lord ever tempted Noah, but Noah was faithful. Or Satan never tested Noah. I don't think Satan, I've got no literature there where Noah tested Satan. Another one is, you know, these are the things that I wasn't going to share, you know, that I was saying there in that video the other day, is that I really think there's some sort of time thing going on here. There's a real, I've got a feeling the timeline of the Bible and life is starting to become a bit of a circular thing. It would appear that time between the fall in the garden and Noah, there was no covenant. I'm not seeing a covenant there. So that whole time, mankind just went to rack and ruin, and God appeared to turn his back, and he didn't commit to mankind. He didn't have a covenant, as far as I know, because you had the Adam covenant, the Adamic covenant, I think that's what they call it, and it was broken. And then there wasn't another covenant to Noah, which is a good 1,000 years, we think, after the fall in the garden. And Noah's significant, you know, he bright white, and the skins to me appear to be because when he went to spend time with God, and when he was in the presence of God, he was radiating with God, and he was glowing, and he was bright, and he'd have to put his skin back on, otherwise people would see he's exposed. And I think that's the sort of the clothes, the fig leaves that Adam and Eve started to wear after they fell. I'm thinking that it's because they were exposed. They felt out in the open, because everybody could see that they had all this wisdom from the Lord. And the Lord gave them those skins, and I'm pretty sure they're the skins that Noah had. And did Ham take them and give them to Shem? One or the other. It might have been the other way around. Don't think Japheth was involved. I think Ham gave them to Shem. I'm not sure, but Noah to me appears to be some sort of, there's a real time thing with Noah. You think about what Jesus said before Abraham, I am. The days will be, when he talks about the second coming in Matthew 24, they'll be in like the days of Noah, where we are now. And I believe technology's always been like what we've got now. I believe back in the times of Noah and Abraham, they had all this technology we do now. I just feel there's some sort of time sort of loop going on here, and we could well be in one of these stages in the Bible, because the Bible is a book of prophecy as well, isn't it? So as you can hear, I've got a lot of sort of ideas flowing in my head at the moment. That's why I've been a little bit quiet with them. But I got a lot of the Bible read, which is fantastic. So when I last did those videos, I was halfway through Jeremiah. So I finished Jeremiah, read Ezekiel, and then read Daniel again. It's been the third time I think I've read Daniel. Daniel's a great book. And then I've started, I think it's called Amos, and the first chapter of Amos, it appears the Lord told Amos to go and find himself a heathen wife. So this should be interesting. This should be quite a ride. There's another thing in Ezekiel especially. I didn't hear him prophesy about end times, or I didn't hear him prophesy about now. He might have been now, but it was basically it was his wrath directed at the children of Israel. He really seems to be upset with them, and what I could gather, it was a time in Ezekiel where the Lord just was upset with everyone, apart from, he spoke about the shepherds, and I think the sheep the shepherds were meant to be looking over. He said, I'm with you. I'm pretty sure it was them. And he seems to just be loving Nebuchadnezzar and Babylon. And Pharaoh's going to get swallowed up, and everyone's going to get swallowed up by Nebuchadnezzar and Babylon. And then you read Daniel, and you think, huh? You know. Because in Daniel, Nebuchadnezzar, he goes for 7 years, doesn't he? Because he gets swept up in himself and not the Lord, and the Lord sort of banishes him for 7 years in Daniel. You know, so there's a whole heap of recurring themes going on in the Bible that I'm finding. The 7 days, the 3 days, it's just everywhere in the Bible. The 3 days. Wonderful book. Like, if anybody is reading, watching this, and they've never read the Old Testament, and they're curious and they want to get to know God, do it. I thoroughly advise you to do it, because it's really changed my life. It's completely changed my life. Because you look for some discernment, and that's how you pray, and you ask God for discernment, and you ask Him to explain things to you, and He does. You know, you just keep praying and praying, and the answers come. And it's just been an amazing 2 months. So I started Christmas Day. I started reading the Bible, and I remember the moment I started, I was sitting in front of the computer because I was really put off by that first, in the beginning, God created the heaven and earth. When you what's it called? When you interpret that word, you translate that word, it means, you know, multiple God's magistrates, you know, people in God's circle, you know, or angels in God's circle, or God's in God's circle. And I was really hung up on that, but I took some advice, and I just kept going. I just kept moving on, and I think the advice I got's right. It's just the authors, they just refer to God in a different way sometimes. Like earlier it was the Lord God, to start with it was God, and then it became the Lord God, and now right through, you know, from Joshua on, it's the Lord. It's just the Lord. So I've got 27 pages to go of the Old Testament, which is fabulous. So I'm really hoping to get that knocked over in the next couple of days. I'm looking forward to some of these books. I've never written books like, you know, Jonah. I don't even know the story of Jonah. So I'm looking forward to all that. I'm really looking forward to it. And then the plan is from there to hop onto the New Testament. And then I'm going to get into, this is another concept I haven't put out here, the Apocrypha. At the moment, I'm sort of in the camp that, yes, I think I'm open to them being included, so much that I'm going to go and read Enoch. Enoch's going to be after the New Testament, because to me I've seen mention of these books in the Old Testament, some of them like Nathan. There's another one there, I think Ezra was mentioned, I think in the books of Kings and Chronicles around there. All these other books, you know, aren't they not mentioned in the book of Kings or something? It says, you know, and it mentions the book of Nathan. And to me, if there's one that's been excluded, it's all bets are off that all these other ones could be as well. And the people that are saying that it is included, I sort of trust at the moment, but you never know with the Freemason pit, do you? What's coming next? But in any case, things are good. I'm back, feeling good, glad to be back. I'm glad I took the time out. I've grown in the Lord. Read a lot of the Bible, you know, read a good 100 pages while I was away, which just feels really good, because it's a commitment, and you just got to plough through, because reading to me isn't natural. I don't enjoy reading. I never really have. But I am genuinely enjoying reading the Bible, so that's good. Back in town, grown in the Lord, feeling good about the world, feeling good about myself and my place in it. And we come back after the comical tent incident and the and the gas oven, the gas stove thing not working. I don't know if you can see it up there behind me. Gas stove not working, but we're back now. I'm sick of getting wet. I'm not going to get wet anymore because I'm home. And again, thank you for all the nice words after those last 2 videos. It did mean a lot. I was in a bad place. It was just hard to see, hard to take, but see through outrage, truth will emerge. Pray and ask, and even more truth will emerge. It's good to be back, guys. Glad you're all on board. Let's go, and let's be strong in the Lord.